but
Yeah, so many
we're
smells.
in your restaurant. Do you
Yeah.
just call it 1864? Do you call it established 1864? How do we say it?
Well, we usually tell people 1864, but I mean, there's a reason why. One, why we named it 1864. Also, why there's EST 1864. Because one name costs more than the other, honestly.
There
Yes,
we go.
to be really honest with
The
everybody.
legal name is EST.1864.
Okay.
To buy 1864 alone is, as we'll go through, is, a little middle class,
I got you.
I'm
Okay.
fine with it.
I like it. That's a very honest answer.
Absolutely.
I do want to get this out of the way. Blake. Oh, by the way, this is Blake MacKie.
Correct.
Is that how we say it? And then
MacKie, yeah.
Allison Fasano.
Fasano, yes.
Fasano. I was
Yes.
close.
Fasano.
Close-ish.
Yeah.
I do.
Fasano.
Blake, are you purposely going for the Jason Momoa Aquaman look?
No, not
He always
entirely.
looks like this.
I don't pay for haircuts or anything like that. Once again, we'll get back to the money thing over and over throughout this.
It's gonna be a
No,
recurring
it just
theme.
does it. I wish I was built like him, but no.
No, you don't. That guy's huge.
I was
He's
a
amazing.
He's
little
in
bit of
his
guy
house,
liner.
right?
He's been in
there.
Montana recently.
Yeah, he's here in town right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
We'll have a little surprise. We'll talk later about Jason Momoa. actually.
Interesting. All right.
His
Yeah.
vodka.
We'll come back
Yes.
to
Vodka,
that.
yeah, he's got the vodka and
Yep.
doing that in Billings, I think.
Huh.
Believe it or not, but yeah. Anyway,
Very
we're not
cool.
promoting Jason.
All
Momoa
right.
today.
Yeah.
I have no problem
Jason.
promoting Jason
You
Momoa.
get enough
Promoting the
promotions.
Buffalo Bills win yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is a
1864.
big win. Good for you guys.
I wasn't playing yesterday, but
Yeah. So
Still claim it.
thank you for letting us invade your space. You named it 1864 after.
That is the, I guess, inauguration or the creation of Bozeman as a United States federal city.
Yeah.
And a lot of cities out here, really, Virginia City, Butte, Helena, all this kind of region in general was actually becoming, it was lawless and it was being implemented as part of the country.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen some of those shows, Deadwood, things like that.
Heck yeah.
A couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit, when I first saw it, I thought it was when Montana got its statehood. I didn't realize that was also the same year that Bozeman became a city. But I think that's very cool.
Right. Well, wasn't Montana 1889? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
1889 is
18
Montana.
okay.
Yeah, 1889 is a restaurant in Missoula, isn't it?
yes.
There's a
Okay.
restaurant. So we actually looked at a lot of those dates. Actually, originally this restaurant was not even. We had a bunch of different names. We were on the fly.
Yeah,
were
but we
going.
also knew at the end of the day it was be all about Bozeman's history and about Montana and Bozeman. So that was where we started with.
Yeah.
Was Horsden ever at all in the running or no?
Horse.
Horsden?
Horsden?
Yeah.
No, not entirely.
All right.
We wanted to.
I mean, I
Bozeman,
feel like
Bozeman's
that would
a
have been
little.
top 3 for me.
Yeah.
I do too, but we wanted to be accepted
Right.
in some aspect.
Got it.
And
I
be
don't know.
approachable. Like we wanted my mom to come in here and not
Yes.
be upset.
Yep,
She
yep.
wouldn't have eaten at the Horsden. Yeah.
Probably not.
So
Come on.
You
why
can
is
always
the
name
4
one of the private rooms.
Yeah.
Speaking of all this, is the 4 red because this was a brothel formerly?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it. This whole block we're in between Rouse and Bozeman on Main Street here is that old brothel unit that was super famous in that 1864 era. That's why the red lights and that room itself is kind of that homage to it. It was one of the top brothel districts in the United States at that point. I mean, think about 1864 in Montana, and what are you doing out here
It's
besides
the rush,
that? Yeah, exactly.
right?
I mean, that's one of those people traveling through here and trailblazing or whatever the case is, and that's just part of life and society at that moment. I think there was something like 15, 16 brothels just in this area. This
I
block.
know if I owned a brothel, I wanted my brothel to be #1 in the country.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Totally.
High tech, the best of the best.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
obviously. Why
5
open up a
stars.
brothel?
Five
Five
stars.
stars.
Totally. Clean
Great Yelp
bathrooms.
reviews.
We could start a review.
Yeah,
a
great
review
Yelp
website
reviews.
for brothels only.
Yeah. Best in the country.
Yeah. I think cleanliness would be like top. That would
think
bring
so?
you, that would raise you up as far as reviews go.
It would be up there.
Yeah.
It would help.
I think sanitation and cleanliness would make your brothel the best if you had that. And also nice ambience.
Yeah.
Lighting. you
Drinks.
know, for the older prostitutes.
Music.
Got a
You don't go there for the
gambling.
food.
No, but you do come here for the food.
Yes.
I know that. Yes. And I love the vibe here. Joe wrote drip so hard. I'm not
She
going to.
loves saying
I
things
don't
are
ever say that.
Drip.
I think that's a
But
brothel
yes.
Food
term.
drips so hard. Is that
Thank you. Yeah. So I help write some of the questions, definitely not this one. But yes, is this a speakeasy, a blind pig, a noir bar? Like, how do you guys categorize yourselves?
it's a noir bar, and that's our term.
We originally were going for speakeasy, but we were like, that term, especially in the last couple of years, has been used so loosely.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, come to our speakeasy. That's like defeats the purpose of a speakeasy. Like,
But
you
this-
shouldn't have arrows pointing and like,
Yeah.
come here.
Yeah.
And
This
then
one does feel like that a little bit. though,
Yes.
Getting down here.
yes.
So-
No, but you have to, like, for a real speakeasy, you're like walking through, like we were talking about, the one in Brooklyn that looks like a
please
palm
don't
reader.
tell, and
Okay.
employees only. And Blake coming from Vegas one day was like, how do we call this a noir bar? And I was like, give me a definition. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Got
What
you.
does that mean to you?
So just it was trying to, emulate the environment of what we were providing. Noir bar was important because black, dark,
Sure.
Yeah.
darkness. We
No
didn't want people
windows.
coming in here and going, no windows, can't see in, can't see out, and we didn't want people going in here going, oh, it's too dark. That's our concept. It's dark. That's the
Yeah.
point of it. You're going to come in here, things are black and red. That's what it is. So it's kind of that forewarning, just because of our experience in the restaurant industry, knowing when people come into a dark environment. And lights, that was even that New York Times article talked about how does that affect your dining experience. I mean, it greatly affects your dining experience because the food isn't, highlighted as much, whatever the case is. But that's what this is, to be social, to be dark, to have your private conversations and be able to kind of tuck away and hide away.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true Vegas bartender. There,
Indeed.
You just
Indeed.
hate true daylight. Everything
I
needs
do.
to be
It's-
created.
I know, and you woke me up at this time of day, and I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
had
right
like
now.
5 cups of coffee in the back as I was waiting. I don't even have underwear on today, so I'm in like brothel mode.
Yes, I know.
I was just like, I'm putting on a sweatshirt and a Bill's hat, and that's my
Yep.
vibes for today. Brush my teeth, and that's all you're getting from me.
I love it.
Listen,
Yeah, Allison
you're
is not wearing underwear. I'm wearing whore boots.
Yes.
As long as the food is good, the cocktails are good. I don't think people care what you wear to work.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
See,
definitely not.
That's a big part of our kind of philosophies. People call us fine dining. I don't like that term. We're not fine dining. This is not white tablecloth.
It's
This is
elbows
not-
on the table.
It's elbows on the table, and I can come in here like this, which I usually don't. But everybody's welcome here. You can come in. It's not proper. We don't get me wrong. We give great service. We have great hospitality. But it's not has to be this way, and we have to reset you this way and do that. That's not the concept here. The concept is to just be social and to meet us and to be part of it, meet our staff, and just enjoy it.
And-
That's what it is.
And we've eaten here, and
Yeah.
you describe it as Nana style, and I think that is
Yeah.
spot on. Tell me what that means to you, though.
Well, I always say that my cooking is Nona style, which is like
Nona.
grandma. Yeah, I didn't want to correct you, but it's okay.
Please do.
I'm from Brooklyn, so most of my words are incorrect anyway.
You
but
called your grandma Nona?
no, I didn't. My mom's mother is actually Russian Jewish,
Okay.
so that's a lot of times the influence of my food. And then my background is my father was Italian, but Nona style. I went to culinary school in Italy, and so my background's in Italian. And then nothing I love more than seeing these Italian grandmas cook. And it's very home style, it's very rustic, but that's like what I like to cook. It's very elbows on the table, it's big, bold layers of flavors of food, and it's kind of food that gives you a hug on the inside. A lot of times when people come to this restaurant, they'll be like, no offense, but your fusilli tastes like my grandma's. I'm like, that's the best compliment you could ever give me.
Yeah.
I had 2 great compliments here. Is like people usually tell me that my food reminds them of their grandma. Or one time we had this couple, they were on vacation from New York City, and they sat at the bar, they got the meatballs, and they don't know anything about me. And they look at the bartender and they said, your chef's from New York City. And they go, actually, she is. And then they had meatballs, they, walked around the block, and then they came back in here for dinner. And the lady goes, your food, tastes like New York City's. And I was like, oh yeah, duh. What else am I to cook like? And it's just very home style cooking. I've worked in fine dining restaurants and Michelin stars, but I always felt like I didn't belong in those types of restaurants. Like, I like to cook food that tells a story and what I grew up with. And, my father's Italian background and my mom being, Irish, Russian, and Jewish food influence. So a lot of times when people see a Lebanese on the menu or if we do a matzo ball soup, it's like food that I just grew up with, and it's very home style.
That's so great.
Yeah, and it was an amazing meal that we had here. We were like walking down Main Street. We're like, oh, we need to try this new place out. And we came down here, and you guys luckily had like a table open because we were probably eating early like we always do. But yeah, it was 4 of us, and we were all just blown away. It was
I
really
appreciate
good
that.
food.
And,
yeah. And
we
you're right. It invokes a feeling of comfort when you do eat here.
Yeah, it's this. That's kind of what we're all about. I mean, a lot of times people will see my background or think that we're fine dining, and I'm like, that's not what we do here. We have a pasta program. We make all our pastas in-house. We actually make everything in-house, but it's just elbows on the table. It's not a fine dining restaurant.
Which is my favorite.
You touched on your background a little bit. You were Bobby Flay's sous chef. You've worked at these Michelin star restaurants, culinary school in Italy. How'd you end up in multiple competition?
For the Food Network, yeah. I think I did 5 or 6 Food Network shows. I won 1, which counts. And it's also a lot of times you don't have to win because when you win, there's nowhere else to go. So I like to come in a fat, pretty second, know. But I did win 1 show, and for me, it's not about winning or losing. It's just getting a chance to put yourself out there and tell a great story and hope to inspire somebody else, because it's always been my dream to be on the Food Network, and the Food Network actually calls me up now. I don't even apply for a show.
Was one of the prizes a trip to Bozeman? How do you end up here?
No, it wasn't. It was a prize for $10,000, but
Oh, all right.
I mean, same.
Yeah. And you're still, like, your inspiration was Rachel Ray.
Yes.
You were telling me that. And then you're still friends with Bobby Flay.
Yeah, he came to the restaurant about a month or 2 ago and surprised us. Actually, surprised me because everybody in this restaurant knew he was coming, especially him. And I wasn't working that day. And he was like, your interview is here. And Bobby walked in. I was like, oh, my God.
Great. Another day without underwear, too, I'm sure.
Probably. Story of my life.
Did he sit down and have a meal here?
He actually had drinks and hung out with us, and I was actually off that day, and Blake had to grab me to come here and lie to me.
It was a whole story. It was I'm pretty good at lying to her, actually. It's been a good experience.
Maybe I'm just gullible.
Partners, yeah.
I'm just gullible.
Yeah.
It's the second marriage.
Yeah. But I actually ended up in Bozeman. A friend of mine who we also both worked for Bobby Flay together. We had lunch together, and she's like, I'm moving to Bozeman. And I've always wanted to, like, leave New York. I hate to say that. I love New York City. I was born and raised in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I worked in restaurants there. And I just kept on hearing about Bozeman, and I came to visit. And I was like, you know what? Let me give it a whirl. And during COVID, I actually fed COVID-19 testing sites. So I would do roughly around 7,000 meals a week with a staff of 6 or 7. Plated, we would deliver them, and I would start my day at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I helped restaurants reopen. I did a lot of charity work, which I believe in, and I try to go work back in Manhattan after COVID, and the energy for me wasn't what I remember. COVID hit New York City very hard. And then, a lot of restaurants that I've worked in. I actually think all the restaurants that are on my resume don't exist anymore.
Okay.
So good luck calling a reference on me. Go for it.
I could say that about my other jobs.
And then I just kind of gave it a whirl. I just, packed everything that fit in my truck. I mean, myself and my dog drove out here from New York City and on a 3-day trip. But I think life's about going on an adventure, and if you would have told me, like, you're going to be opening for a restaurant in Bozeman, I'd be like, nah, or, meeting Blake and working on this project. But I think sometimes you just have to take risk in life and go and travel and experience life, and this is how we ended up here.
Here we are. So starting this restaurant, I mean, clearly you guys had so many investors.
Is that a joke?
It's a joke.
Okay.
It's a joke. So tell me how, like, you guys just scrapped some money together, put together this restaurant. I know that recently you had someone hit your car off Mendenhall.
Yeah. Well, that was my brand new vehicle. I was very excited to. I felt like we were, becoming
finally
successful,
here.
and I was like, okay, I don't have to drive a 2001 beat up Yukon anymore. And
That
I'm gonna-
doesn't start. I
I'm
had to
gonna-
pick
yep.
him up today.
No, yeah, pick me up today, and I'm just going, oh man, I'm late to this. Trying to scrape this thing together, get it going. But yeah, it was a drunk driver just plowed in the back. It had 600 or 800 miles on it.
Oh my God.
I got to drive for a
He was
couple
just
weeks. It
leaving
nice.
the brothel in the back, and he had a great experience.
So speaking of angel investors, they don't have any. Somebody needs to buy Blake a new car.
Yes.
Whoever is listening, yes, Blake needs a new vehicle. But yeah, so you guys put this together.
You met upstairs, right?
Yes.
We met upstairs. I think we moved out here.
Can we
about the
just
same
say
time.
how Blake, we actually weren't friends when we first met. I must be really honest, and he'll tell you the
Yeah.
same thing. Me and Blake, it's not like I hated Blake. For some reason, I couldn't figure out why he hated me. And we were constantly bickering and fighting. And
This
then
is
one
while
day,
you were working at Brigade?
yes.
Okay.
And we were actually not very good friends, which this is a great story because somebody told us, like, you guys should just talk to each other. And then one time I went to, one of my friends was like, hey, let's go to this bar at the same time. He hated me. And then my friend's like, oh, I just left. And I looked up, and there's Blake, and he's giving me a big hug. I was like, oh, my God.
We were at the filling station.
Yes,
Y'all
we
been
went
there?
to go
I love the
see.
filling
This is great.
station.
This
That's
is my
actu-
first time there.
Okay.
And this is how we became friends, and we started talking to each other and hanging out, and, you know, we literally just listened to each other and hung out and rekindle our friendship. And I was
Okay.
just like, I couldn't figure out why you hated me.
You watched me headbang all night.
Yes.
I remember when I showed up to work the
That's
next
hard
day.
on
Yes.
the
Tried
neck.
that in there. It was.
It's hard on the
it
neck.
was. I
The
had really
next
long
day
hair,
you're like,
so it
why'd
was
I do
just-
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. What was the animosity, Blake?
It wasn't direct. It was a corporate company, and you're coming in to kind of clean things up or figure out what's going on. So, I blame myself a bit, and
Okay.
without going into too much detail on it,
Sure.
it was kind of one of those just trying to make things work in a company that had put a lot together really quickly.
Yeah.
And you don't really know where it was going wrong or what was going wrong, and bringing me in from Vegas and having that Vegas mentality where
He
it's,
showed up with an iron fist.
You were just doing
Yeah.
your job,
Yes.
though.
Yes,
That's
he
what
was.
you're brought in
absolutely,
to do.
and
Crack some
being,
skulls.
being the general manager, being responsible for
Yeah.
everything, a lot of pressure, and it was one of those positions that I generally didn't even really want either. I was working actually, I'm wearing it today, Kitty Warren shirt. Kitty Warren was a little bar over here underneath El Camino. Did you ever get to go to that before it closed? A lot of inspiration actually from that place in general. That was my first. So moving from Vegas, coming up here, just wanted to relax. Did not want to spend a lot of time working and hustling all the time in Vegas and just working post COVID, and found this job over here because my wife and I had a mutual friend that we actually met in Hanoi. We were living in Hanoi, Vietnam before we came back from COVID, and she was working there, got me a job. Worked there for a couple weeks during Christmas, and then the guys, the president and whatnot, they found me down there, brought me upstairs, and it was supposed to be a bar manager job, turned into the general manager job, and so it was one of those things that you're just like, boom, 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 you're in it fast, and don't even know how to react. I was coming to Bozeman, kind of a sleepy, 15 minutes behind the curb kind of town, and nope, now I'm in it, and I feel like I'm in, Brigade's beautiful. It's a big time establishment of what they're producing up there, and so it was. Went from Vegas right back into it, kind of.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. So it's one of those scenarios, I guess, but ended up working it out in the end, it seems.
And a
Yeah,
lot of
clearly.
elbow grease went into this place,
Yeah.
along with all of the money that you had. You took out a big loan to make this happen.
Yeah, we actually
We-
signed the lease
yeah.
of this place without the approval of the loan.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that was just
Hoping a prayer.
good luck.
Well,
Good
he's
luck.
a gambler. I'm really not. I just told you about my Jewish background. So
Yes.
gambling's not in my repertoire. And then he was like, let's just sign the lease. And I was like, all right. And then we would be like sanding tables, and every once in a while we'll look up and be like, what are we going to do if we don't get the loan? And we were like, just
I'm
continuing.
going back to Vietnam. I'm good.
Yes.
Leaving the country.
Yep, that's
They
what it
actually
was.
informed us that we're the poorest people they ever gave a loan to. And I said, thank you.
They try to put that 2001 Yukon on the
Yeah.
loan, right?
Yeah,
They
it's a
just
good
said,
thing
"You know
a
what?"
drunk driver didn't smash into your restaurant.
Well,
Yeah.
in the end, they were like, you guys really don't have anything worth value,
No.
so we're not going to come after you in the end. They took off the car, and what else was it? I had
Well,
like a
they
couch
asked
or
me if
something.
I own anything. I said student loans, and they said, you actually don't? I said, actually, I do. We didn't own anything.
They own you. That's
No.
it.
Yes.
It's honestly incredible that they, that company, we still appreciate them greatly because
Yeah.
they basically interviewed
believed
us
in
and
you.
believed in us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is extremely rare, especially in this town, to
Mm-hmm.
get that opportunity as I say middle class or whatever. I mean, below that, just not even, we had no income, just to have them fight for us and allow this to happen.
And then we quit
never
our
would happen.
jobs too, which I don't know if anybody ever went 3 months without receiving a paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
Risque.
Scary.
Me and
Especially
him,
out
I
here,
think there's
yeah.
a video of us, this used to be a karaoke bar and there was canned Spam in the back. And then we, killed the gas in the restaurant, so we had a suction burner. And then we would bring random stuff from our house. So, like, one day he's like, let's make Spam sandwiches. So there was old mustard, Spam, and bread from our house, and we were just in the back. And then actually one day, what did I eat?
We had beef jerky. Or no, they're like the meat sticks, and we rolled them up in tortillas.
Ooh, fancy.
And that was kind of what we were chewing on today. And then Rumplements,
Yeah.
of course. That was
Yes.
Rumplements
Chasing it
on
all
the side.
down with Rumpleman.
dipping it in
Yes. But I think, we never imagined that we would end up here. And also, Casey, who owns this building and owns Brigade, really took a risk on us. And I think a lot of times opportunities start with somebody that's believe in you. And, he believed in us. And, I mean, he believed in us more than I think we believed in us that we could do it. I mean, sometimes me and him would look at each other, be like, what are we going to do if this doesn't work out? And I'm like I had no other answer for him. You just have to roll the dice and try it. And,
That's where success
Casey
comes from.
really definitely believed in us that we could do this, and especially the people who gave us a loan too. I mean, I would have gave us a loan
Yeah.
if I had a say.
On paper, you guys look great, I think.
Thank you.
I think.
Because
Your
I see
background.
businesses open all the time and people don't have any experience. And, I've worked in this career since I was 14. So this year will be 20 years. I'm going to be 34 next month, which I'm pretty much ready to retire in like 3 years
Yeah.
if you do the math.
High
And
stress.
Blake has a lot of great experience in this career, being a bartender and a general manager. So I'm like, I watch people with no experience get loans and then they close their restaurant. I'm like, you in on this or not?
Yeah. Were you
This
guys
is how we
integral
look, too.
in
Yeah.
the decor, picking out the decor for the restaurant and things like that?
Yeah, actually, my wife was a big one.
We got
her and
kicked
I-
off the
and I-
project real quick.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, because I didn't realize there was
First
multiple
week.
shades of black in the world.
Oh, okay.
She goes,
Yes.
she's out of town. She's what, in Chile?
Yes.
She's in Chile, and
We went to Hobby Lobby.
we're like, we gotta go. We gotta keep going. We're gonna paint the ceiling black. And she goes, okay, first of all, what black? And I go, black. There's another black in the world. Well, there's
Noir,
apparently there's
I think
numbers.
we've
Yes.
been over this.
Yeah, there's a lot. And so she was like, you guys do something else because that doesn't work. And this ceiling's not black. If
It's
you notice.
anchors away.
It's anchors
It's a
away
blue.
blue. It's
Yeah.
a dark blue. And
No,
you never
it's
know.
people
say
need to
so.
come in and see the ambiance of this place because it's unique and the feel of it is fantastic.
Well, she did a great job. The colors are all her, and the lights we hunted down, like all these antique lights we got up
Yeah.
here. That's from a local shop called Perch up on Rouse.
Okay.
If you've never been there, they're great. They work on them. And we were able just to kind of, we had a vision of wanting to do Tiffany and kind of matching Art Nouveau, that 1890 style to kind of your 1930s, Prohibition, flapper kind of days. And making it a timeline piece in general. So at first we were thinking, this is what we're going to do. But then as we started going, we started finding tables like this, antiques. Montana is
Facebook Marketplace.
well, exactly.
It's
And
a gold
Montana
mine.
it's a treasure.
This
It's a treasure
table.
state. I mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely. Yeah. This is an old ranch table.
nice.
So we have a nice lady named Carmen that does a great job. She kind of hunts stuff now.
Yeah, in Four Corners.
Just curating
She got
for
me
you.
that nice adding machine up there.
Yep.
From 1908. That's a calculator
Nice.
for you.
Yes.
From
And
1908.
And you guys hold special events here.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've got the two back rooms. One in particular looks like it's very swanky. It's got like the couches and the red lights
Mm-hmm,
and things like that. And then recently, you guys just had a big New Year's event.
I'm still
that's-
recuperating.
Yes, you're still recovering
I think
from.
we did, final count was 410 people.
I was on the books, but remember at midnight, this place was wall to wall and
That's
pouring that
accurate.
champagne tower. It was hot. It was hot in here.
I couldn't get around
Sweaty.
the dining room, which, it's a blessing to see because, like we talked about, we didn't have money to open up this restaurant, to see your restaurant packed wall to wall. And I mean, I couldn't get to the tables, and we did this cute little burlesque show. And the lady was just like, "Oh, Allison, I loved how you walked past our stage as we were performing." I was like, "I'm working here, girls." I mean, I can't get to the tables. I couldn't get to the dining room past them. So, yeah, I was on stage with them. I mean, I wasn't part of the show because you don't want me, but I couldn't get food to the tables. And that's the
Yeah.
only walkway available.
Any
but
port in a storm.
You made
Yes.
a cameo.
I made
you
a
know?
cameo, and you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then
Excited to
I
see it.
also saw Cole Hauser was here drinking
Yes.
whiskey.
Yes.
His whiskey, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. It's his brand, and he's doing a great thing. He actually has the reason that we decided to do that with Cole is when they came to me, they kind of know how I am about celebrities and going, all right, celebrity liquor. There's a new one that comes out every day. We just talk about Jason Momoa, you got George Clooney and George Strait, and everybody does it. Ryan Reynolds, whatever the case is. But they came to me about him. First, I tried it. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. Let's hear the story now. Who is it?
Is it?
And then
You can tell me.
It
Okay,
is. It's
all
pretty
right.
good, actually. It's
Montana
you should
whiskey's
know-
low bar.
You should know.
No, his
but
whiskey
it's not.
is
It's not actually
awesome.
made in Montana yet. So he's outsourcing it from a really great company, Sazerac. So
Okay.
Sazerac makes Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. So that's where it's being produced now.
Yeah.
He is looking to, at his ranch, to make his own distillery in Big Timber, which will be 100% Montana made. You know, it takes a while to get those things done. So
Oh my God.
his philosophy on it is actually great. And he came in and he branded the bar, and we kind of did a little shoot with him and hung out with him, and he's a good guy, and he's
And he also has
Fun time.
Montana history, which a lot of people don't realize. Because
Yeah.
I know there's this weird thing here in Montana where people hate the show Yellowstone, and it brought a lot of tourists here. But, you know, years ago, I'm from New York City, as you know.
Yeah.
A show came out, which I'm on my third run watching, and we were talking about this earlier today,
Yeah.
is Sex in the City.
So good.
And I just remember women would show up to New York City, and they thought that was life in New York. But I'm like, girl, you broke. Nobody goes out every day. And who's having that much sex in the city? 0 people. I mean, so I know what it's like to have people think, oh, this is what the town is. I'm like, it's not anything based on the show. It's also just a show.
Yeah.
So let's get our lives together. I was about to curse. I didn't know if you were allowed to. I just
are.
sometimes I
Let
get
her-
really
let her rip.
excited. I just be dropping F-bombs.
Yes. That's
And
okay.
I just can't even help myself, but I apologize in advance. But
Not at all.
you
It's
know,
not a
Cole-
family show.
No.
Oh, either am I. But Cole had a great history of, you know, why he decided to launch it here in Montana. It wasn't because he was like, I'm on a show called Yellowstone, so let's launch it in Bozeman.
Right.
It had nothing to do with that. And I believe with his great-great-grandfather was a governor here.
one of the greats. His great grandfather Samuel Hauser was the first governor of the Montana Territory, actually. So he has history here, which is when you think about, you know, kind of the hatred that show produces out here.
Yeah.
And then one of the main stars on there actually has Montana bloodline. It's kind of phenomenal to think about. And he hasn't
is.
really
He's
pushed
legit.
that. You know, he never
Yeah.
really defended himself to the public about it. You know,
Yeah.
you know, he knew, and it is what it is. But cool.
Plus, he's married to one of the twins from Basketball Diaries and Sweet Valley High.
The only
Good to
famous
know,
twins
Joe.
I know are Mary Kate and Ashley.
Yeah.
Are there
exactly.
more?
I know. Joe
There are
knows
other twins in the world.
all the celebrity names
I want
somehow.
to switch gears really quickly. Food waste is something that's important to you, Chef. Tell me, I watched your TEDx talk about food waste. Tell me about the practices you use in your kitchen that you think other kitchens should use.
You know, I did do a TEDx talk on food waste and how we could end hunger. You know, besides cooking food in restaurants, I mean, my passion is about giving back, especially to women charities, or just kind of continuing telling my story and making a path for women, because 7% in the United States are women-owned restaurants, or women are executive chefs. And there's an event that we'll do here in March to kind of you know, talk about that and give back. But that's what I like to do when I'm not in the kitchen. I told you I fed COVID-19 testing sites. But, you know, food waste is really important, whether, you know, you're using the whole animal or you're using skins from an onion or a carrot to make a stock with. And then it's also like, as a chef or even as a creative mind, when you have a product, you're just kind of thinking, what can I do with this? What, you know, can I use a dehydrator? Should we fry it? Should we make a stock? Are we making a soup? And it's just figuring out ways and being creative on your toes of, you know, just kind of using the whole animal or the whole vegetable. Especially I visit a lot of farms here, you know, in Montana, and just to see how hard these farmers and ranchers work. And we have a great relationship with them, but, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn, as you all know, but there's no farms in Brooklyn. So for me to visit, you know, farms and see how hard people are working, and it has a lot to do with the weather. And, you know, one of my favorite farms is Wickens Ranch. And, you know, Eric from Wickens comes in here all the time, and he's generations owned. And just to hear how he takes care of the cattle, or how hard they work out there, and it's a very admiring story, and I think that supporting local is just so important. I know a lot of times people don't do it because it costs a little more, but if you go visit one of these farms, you see how hard these people are actually working, and it's been in, their families for generations, and it's just really important to hear where your food comes from and to see it. Yes, I understand that, a certain big name grocery store does a $4.99 whole chicken, but you ever did research on why that chicken costs $4.99?
Yeah. Oh, I did. It's gross.
And it's just no, it is gross,
really
but
gross.
I mean, sometimes the price doesn't always, relate to how it's grown or what the animal's eating, because that's important to know. Yes, you want to save money, but I'd rather put something better in my body.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, dining is a holistic experience, and I think that the people that come into this restaurant really appreciate that things come from a local source. I mean, you have a lot of Montanans coming here. It's not always tourism. And then
Yeah, that seems to be a point of emphasis for the restaurant, is really being a part of the community and drawing in locals and not just depending on tourists.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the whole focus. That's why it's 1864. That's why, we knew coming out here, me growing up in Austin kind of got hit how Bozeman's getting hit with that kind of influx of people from all over the country, which is good and bad in its own ways, however you want to see it. But we knew if we're going to open something, it has to be about Montana. Yeah. It has to be us completely exposing ourselves and saying, hey, Brooklyn, Austin, Vegas, whatever you want to believe where we're from or what we're doing, everybody's welcome here. We want to make sure Montana is, always the big piece in the centerfold of it, from proteins or vegetables or whatever the case is, from the history. That's the focus. Why move to a city and open a place and do something like this, a restaurant where it's very personal, and not want to be in touch with the community? That's not. Yeah. It's not part of it, really.
That is a wonderful segue into our dumb game.
Oh, yay. I'm excited.
This is a game I call, what's in this?
Joe does
all right,
this to me. I don't know what this is.
You guys have some offerings that are named after legendary Montana landmarks. Sometimes they're events or things that have happened in Bozeman, things that happened in Montana. There's Story Sipper, Bridger's Two-Way, Coulter's Run, Sliver of Liver. Look all these up if you're not familiar with.
Sliver of liver is my favorite, though.
Is it? People are always like, what is
My
this?
headphones are sliding off my head.
In this game, I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to give you other Montana-themed names, and you have to tell me, what's in this? Is it a drink? Is it a dish? What is it? And Michelle can help you.
Okay.
She also cooks.
Do we really need help?
No,
I think he
it's
needs
fine.
help.
Yeah, I don't know why he
right.
made me do this.
The first one is called Zucchini Bear Spray. All right. In 2010, a woman in Frenchtown fended off a bear by throwing a zucchini squash at its face. This is a true story. So, what is Zucchini Bear Spray? What's in this?
I think, I'm going to take the lead on this one. This is actually a food.
Okay.
And it's stuffed zucchini blossoms.
Oh.
So I got you there. Take that one.
Are they spicy?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I make everything spicy. They
Makes
say
sense,
that
the bear
some
spray,
don't
yeah.
like it hot, but I think other people don't know they like it hot.
Zucchini blossoms are delicious.
Yeah.
They're kind of
Maybe we're doing some spicy ricotta in there with some like harissa, and then it's fried in like a rice flour batter. Maybe like a little spurts of like lemon zest.
Okay.
We could dome it too.
That sounds amazing.
Thanks, I made that up.
There are
just
no
now.
wrong answers in this game.
Okay, got it.
Thank God.
All right. Are you mad at me right now? What is this thing? All right. How about this one? Unabomber. Okay.
That's a drink.
Ted Kaczynski was holed up in Lincoln,
Lincoln.
Montana when he was caught.
I lived like a few miles away from him during the time he was writing all those letters. I was in Ovando.
What is the Unabomber?
That's
the
a
staff
drink.
actually said that to me
Sounds
the
like
other
a
day because
What?
I put on my beanie and they told me that I looked like the Unabomber. I was like, come on, guys.
You need a
Oh.
hoodie. You need
was like, I know.
sunglasses.
Just-
Well,
Yeah.
I wear
Look.
those sunglasses.
Okay.
I had a
So
beanie
you
on.
might
And they're
have.
like, what are you doing
might
here?
have.
He actually his
Unabomber.
sunglasses are prescription, where a lot of times he'll put them on. I'm like, oh my God, just tell me, what are
I
you
wear
trying
them
to
at night.
read?
In the middle of the
Nice.
night.
I feel like
Unabomber.
Unibobber is a drink.
It's
Is
definitely.
it one of those drinks where you drop a
it's
shot
Yes.
in it?
I think it's a flaming drink, like a Rumpelmint's Flaming A.
Yep.
Flaming A.
Oh.
We used to do a drink in Vegas called Flaming A, but me and my brother. But I think the Rumpelmint's one would be good with some black sambuca in honor of your Italian heritage.
Thank you.
A little 151, light it on fire, sugar rim.
Oh, it's so good.
Spritz of lemon on it. Unabomber. Sparks it
Unabomber.
up.
These sound way
Beautiful.
better than I was
Minty,
just gonna be like Dr.
anise.
Pepper bombs.
This will be on our summer menu.
We should make this cocktail.
Exactly. I
We'll
just
make
said
these
it will be on the
shots.
summer
That
menu.
sounds really
I'm
good.
gonna
call
start
it that?
writing these down.
People might
Do
not
it.
understand if I call
We'll
it that,
email
though.
you the
Thank
names
you.
later.
All right, I don't think you'll like this next one though. Night of the Grizzlies. Are you familiar with this story?
Oh,
Yes.
In
Glacier?
1967, 2 different grizzly bears mauled 2 women to death on the same night in Glacier,
Glacier.
the national park, and led to a lot of different practices when it comes to bear safety. So good things came of it, but horrific evening. Night of the Grizzlies. What is it? What's in this?
It's a burger. It's a burger with I don't know, a lot of ketchup. No, I'm kidding. No, something with
Grizzly.
blood, something bloody.
I'm gonna throw a curveball. I actually think it's one of our burlesque shows that we're gonna do, and they actually dress up with maybe more of a fur-based outfit, like how we did the
Okay.
circus thing. So Night of the Grizzlies, and they run around with
It reminds me
Maybe
of
we
like
could have some like trash detritus, going around their feet.
and
when
then
they're
the
doing it.
blood, the red. So there's
Yeah.
one of the ladies that are burlesquing, so covered in blood, and the bears over them, and it's a good concept.
we went
there.
from burlesque to a horror movie.
Yeah. Oh God, that's
All right,
There's,
we'll
a,
move
there's a
on.
mix in that. I think.
I'm sorry. Okay, this next one, I think you'll have something to work with. Berkeley Pit. Berkeley Pit is a former copper mine in Butte.
Oh, is that a big?
It
where the
now
birds
contains some of the
Yep.
some of the most
Toxic.
contaminated water in North America with acidity comparable to carbattery acid.
Oh,
It kills birds like they
amazing.
have to shoot shotguns to keep birds from landing in it because they'll just die.
die? This be like
Well,
Coca-Cola
wait, they shoot the bird before they get in the water?
Just to scare it away with the noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say he's
Oh,
will die
I
anyways.
thought they
You been
died
in Berkeley
because
Pit?
I
No.
Seen that? That's that whole that.
thought the birds
Yeah.
die in the water because it's so acidic.
Yeah, that's why they're trying to keep
They
them
keep
out of the
them
water.
Well,
Don't
so
let 'em
it's
land in the
maybe like
water.
a Coca-Cola bird, the one where they marinate the bird. And
I was
marinate
thinking
chicken.
about when he said pit, I was just like barbecue.
Yeah, totally.
You're right. I think we'll do like a Coca-Cola something high in acid.
You need something with a lot of
Like
acid.
yes.
Yeah.
Like one of those beer chickens that you put the whole chicken
Toxic.
on the
Toxic.
beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
And you
is.
throw it in the
Can I
pit.
throw another one in there?
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
toxic, so I'm gonna make it a mat shot. You know what a mat shot is?
No.
We don't
Oh,
do that
yeah.
here. We don't do that here. But
Where you
once event
pour
Vegas come up,
everything
yeah, it's
from the mat?
one of those mats up there. You're bartending all night and you just get all that smorgasbord of slush. That's the pit right there, and then you pour it into a shaker at the end of the night. And if people want free shots, they get the mat shot.
What's the general flavor of
Sounds
that?
nasty.
It depends on what
just depends on
you
the night.
poured that
a
evening. I
suicide.
guess.
I thought you think
Suicide.
rubble mints is bad. I mean, come on, you gotta.
That's like you're probably
Yeah.
It might come out good. You never know.
Berkeley
That's how
Pit.
we
Yeah.
actually invent cocktails here a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Please don't quote me on that.
Yep.
Match shot,
Bacteria.
chartreuse,
Boom.
Berkeley Pit.
Oh, chartreuse is amazing.
you're welcome.
Right?
Yeah.
love it. I
Make a dinner out of it.
And here's our last one, Testy Festy.
Oh.
Have you guys heard of Testy
Yes.
Festy?
Oh, I've
Okay.
had Rocky
For
Mountain
35
oysters.
years, Montanans would flock to Clinton, Montana to party and consume 5,000 pounds of fried bull testicles. What is Testy
Woof.
Festy?
I feel like that obviously it has to be fried bull testicles. I actually really enjoy them, to be honest with everybody. I never
The
tried them
texture?
till I came
Have you had
here.
They're good in ranch.
And I
good.
ordered them at a restaurant. They're like, "What kind of sauce did you want?" I'm like, "Wow, this gets even better." I mean, they're like chicken nuggets.
Yeah, they are. I don't. The
Chewier.
texture gets to me, and maybe because mentally I know what I'm eating.
We should do them. We should do them here.
You should.
I mean,
Bring a new experience of them.
I think you need like more reasons in life to put more balls in your mouth. I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. We say this in a former brothel.
Come to 1864.
Hey,
Yeah.
we said use all parts of the
I
animal.
feel like
mean,
it's a tea-based cocktail, like a tea-bagged based
we should
cocktail.
combine it.
Oh,
You should
okay.
shoot.
See, they like it.
I
A
like
tea-based
that.
cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Tea
some
bagged.
dunking. Yeah, you
Yep.
got to teabag
Yes.
your drink.
And we can
Yeah.
use the testicle as the shot glass, and then you eat it when you're finished. No. Okay.
No.
Can't win them all.
Nope,
Yeah.
Nope.
Also, and 2 other ones that didn't go with Anaconda Slag and Quake Lake, both Montana things. I didn't like those as much. But one thing I learned
Good
is
soup.
that in Montana, the word ditch can be used to order a drink, and it means with water. Is this true? Do we know?
Oh,
Have you ever
heard
heard
that.
this before?
well,
still
I think
learning.
if you're going out drinking and you want it with water, I haven't been out drinking with you in that case. But I heard like
I thought a beer was the chaser.
I know. You told me that have an old fashioned, then have a beer back. Remember you
There's no
told me
water.
that?
There's water in the beer. That's the whole.
Yeah, I getcha.
concept.
Okay.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, like you can
I've
order a Jack Daniel's ditch
No, ma'am.
Or-
Never heard that.
or
I
a
haven't
Jack
heard that either.
ditch.
I just when the first time I ever heard people out here say the word creek, they say crick,
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
and I said
Sam
a
used
what?
to.
But like I shouldn't be talking anyways because like
Got some Brooklyn in there. I hear it.
I make up
Coming out.
words constantly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm at a table, like the other day, I said, "Oh shit, I'm sorry," and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry," and then I curse on top of the curse to make up for me cursing at the table.
Yeah.
And the people thought it was hilarious. They're like, "You're from New York?" "Oh, I live in New York too." I was like, "Whew."
Yeah.
But I make up words constantly, and no
It's
one
the
knows the
dialect.
words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yes. Yeah. I think part of the Brooklyn
I
dialect
find
is
you
cursing.
charming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your time today, and thanks for allowing us to come into your restaurant. I mean, we'll be coming back often. But yeah, if you haven't been to 1864, you really need to come. But also, don't come on a night where she's got like 400 other people roaming around. She has to walk across the stage. But like,
Yeah.
we do.
regular old night.
I'm a showgirl.
But no, yeah, thank you for your time today, and thanks
Thank
for
you.
opening up this restaurant.
Absolutely.
I hope you
Appreciate
get your new car soon.
Thanks.
Everything
Me too.
works out.